Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of System Link, this time for Wednesday, the 24th of September 2025. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mike Hazelton from the Xbox Guide. Mike, how you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah, how are you?
Feeling good. Forgetting to introduce myself again this week. I need to make sure I do that. Hi, I'm Jonathan Garrett from Burly Media.
And a good job Jeff Steitzer's not on because he'd be making sure. Couldn't care less. But,
live
he
in an
makes sure.
episode. It was something I could never cut out because he was so determined to that I acknowledged my own self-worth, which was so sweet of him given his insane career. Shout out to Jeff Steitzer, by the way, actual legend. Jess, Sunday Nose in Twitch, good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping in. Always a pleasure to have one of our biggest supporters jump into chat. We have an interesting, as always, System Link seems to always fall when Sony announce a state of play. There's such a bizarre confluence of timing here. 10 o'clock, we're going to be kicking off with that. So I'm sure there's going to be some newsworthy items that we'll be able to talk about, a week later. We might sneak it into Burly Bird Live this Saturday. But there's always seems to be something cooking from Sony at the moment whenever we seem to do a podcast right before we go on air as well. So we can't sneak it into the headlines. But speaking of some quick fire headlines, got a couple of bits to go through tonight. Again, with passion, coming in on YouTube. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us as always. We've got a couple of bits here. So as we mentioned, PlayStation State of Play is tonight. We're going to be getting a look at Housemarque's next game. We're going to get a gameplay deep dive on that. That's probably the one thing I'm really looking forward to. I want to get a date. I want to get, it's 2026, but let's get a release window on that. Give us some good looks at gameplay. I'm really excited for that. Rematch's first season has launched, which is long overdue. It feels like it's been cooking forever. They've got crossplay. They've got a new 3v3 rank mode in there, and they've been making some specific tweaks to known exploits and wonky packet loss related skill tricks that people have been trying to sneak through past the developers. So it's nice to see them adjust that. And probably now that Jump Space is out, this is going to be Burly Bird Media's official most anticipated of the year. Arc Raiders is coming in the end of October, and they've announced what I actually think was it £30, I think, on Steam was the pricing they revealed. So. Superb price. I don't think there's anything much more to say on that. Just I think that's incredible value for what they offered in the previous technical test. They're going to be doing a server slam mid-October. I don't think we're going to be playing it. We're so excited for the full release. I think Mike and I think we agreed there, didn't we? We're going to be like, as much as it pains us because we're desperate to get back in there, we're going to hold off and wait for the full launch at the end of October. But they're doing a really solid. They're really pushing for people to break their servers. Advertising it as such, not a beta. I think the wording around it's been really clever, and that's coming up in mid-October, a couple of weeks before the game launches. That will do us for our quick fire. Let's now get to our headlines. Okay, so first up tonight is Hideo Kojima just dropped it all. Like, just a blowout. I want to just acknowledge straight away that I will be playing OD Knock, if only because my wife loves watching me shit my nicks playing games. I thought that trailer had such PT vibes, and
that's a brilliant trailer.
Just what were Konami thinking? What were Konami thinking getting rid of him? I am so excited, and I love, as well, just a little bit of a Hideo Kojima love fest going on right now. I adore his focus on new IP and pushing boundaries and stuff. Obviously Death Stranding 2 being a sequel, but, we're getting... now, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I don't want to butcher it. Is it Scient? Sint? Physint? Don't know.
I mean, the way it's spelled, Physint?
Fizzint? Fizznot?
I don't know.
Fizzle. When we have OD and Fizzle, I just love the fact that they are so keen to explore new territory and have it be so grounded in his own style. Not as in it's very, realistic, but he so has, I think, a voice and a vision as a creative director, and you definitely see that come through in the OD Knock teaser. The PT vibes were so strong. Just, he makes doors scary. I mean, that's the thing I just find so brilliant. So it's such restrained filmmaking in terms of the camera angles and the. I don't know who the actress was that plays the lead character in that, but I thought she emoted and performed that really well. Really good motion capture. This was really exciting. I know that obviously Fizzle, we'll call it Fizzle. Fizzle's a way off. And we do know it's going to be more traditional sort of tactical espionage, kind of what like I think Metal Gear always shot for. So they're going to be going. He's going to be going back to that style of game again. Really exciting potential. We're going to get OD first. Well, before that, what was your take on the trailer?
Yeah, I mean it's hard, isn't it? Because obviously no gameplay. We don't even know. I mean, you can kind of imagine what the gameplay is going to be like, but at the same time, when it was first announced, it was kind of conceptual. So I think there will be elements of it that perhaps aren't traditional. I for me, it would be most exciting if it's more of a more about the experience rather than I know people don't like walking simulators and they don't like that sort of thing, but this was so narratively strong, this snippet that we got, that if it then becomes like a combat heavy horror game, that wouldn't be really what I'm interested in. I'd be in all about the sort of anticipation and the build up to the horror. So yeah, but a great first impression.
Yeah, and actually it's the restraint that I really appreciated with this. The single location, the repetition of which again invoked PT in its looping. The repetition of the match lighting across the different candles and the shots of like the.
There were a couple of the eyes on like post-it notes that changed as the scene was building up, and they were with all the candles. They were just like I watched it through a couple of times to look at different.
There's a lot
bits
of detail in there, right?
Yeah,
but also
I completely missed the sort of wormy candle.
The candle on the left
the whole time.
Yeah. The animation I thought on the fingers as it navigated the match lighting was really impressive. But also the subtle changes to how frantic it was on the third loop of the third repetition, seeing that the hesitation and the nervousness come through that fidelity. This is where I do like seeing tech be pushed. It's not actually about the graphics per se. This is about animation quality and immersion. That side of it, I'm all for. I think the push for prettier textures is somewhat, reductive. This, in terms of it pushing the quality of storytelling, I think is absolutely worth investing in and worth exploring. And that's certainly what I took away from this, is that it's very narratively driven and they're pushing fidelity for that reason. That seems to be, they want to tell a really impactful story. And I forget sometimes that it's in collaboration with Jordan Peele, one of the most like prolific horror film directors of the sort of modern era of cinema. Such a cool, that's a dream. Kojima and Peele as a crossover is like a dream, like a fantasy matchup. So I am thrilled about this, and I think give us the date, give us more, give us the mechanics. Great teaser though, great tease for the future, and maybe I missed a trick with this. This felt like it came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, we've been waiting to hear because Microsoft announced it, didn't they? I think originally, and we just hadn't heard anything on it. I mean, I thought it might have been cancelled with the recent round, but I think Kojima's someone you don't want to piss off. I think in terms of not because he's an arsehole or anything, but I think you just wouldn't have his games on your platform probably if you like cancelled a game that he'd been working on or something. It would be quite tricky to get around that.
Well, plus also Fizzle is a PlayStation exclusive, so that's the one each here, which is so
well.
Interesting.
I don't think this will be. Because it said for all players, didn't it, at the end?
I assume that was for all players and streamers. Yeah, I'm imagining that it's going to be what we'd expect as the timed exclusivity for this. So it's going to be Xbox PC, say, for a year, and then it'll jump.
Okay, because I've read it as
it's going to be multi-plat.
Like it will be, and with the streamers thing, almost that it will be like mass availability.
Interesting. Okay. That could be that's a soft bet between us without stakes. That's a soft bet that we've just done there. That's interesting. I can see it being exclusive, given that Death Stranding ended up being a timed exclusive as well. So I could see it going that way. And Fizzle, we do need to figure out what that's called, but I'm going to call it Fizzle for this episode. Again, I think that will end up being there'll be timed exclusivity on all of this stuff. I think so. Soft bet. Looking forward to it. Just great to see this in any sense of detail and getting a sort of extended look at it was really good fun.
I just want to quickly say there aren't many developers who work on sort of the breadth of games that Kojima's worked on, but you can still kind of identify them as his games. Like
They've
Double
got a
Fine
mark,
do a
haven't
lot
they?
that kind of have that
Yep.
touch about them.
I would argue, actually, a developer like Remedy has a similar flavour to that. Like, you could look at Alan Wake and Control and see that came from the same house. I think there's a certain touch that they have to that really comes through.
But then they're also in the same universe, aren't they?
They are in the connected universe. They're very true.
But then maybe all these are. I think there's been hinted that certain Kojima games are.
Would not
are
be surprised for a second. Let's dive into some shit news. The second price increase from Xbox this year. Gosh. Forget the generation for a minute. This is the second time it's gone up this year. May was the last price increase on Xbox hardware. I'm just going to rattle this off. Series S is now $399. It's gone up by $20 from $379. That's dollars, by the way. These are all dollar amounts. The Terabyte edition is again up $20 from to $449 from $429. The digital Series X has gone up $50 to $599 US.
That's so expensive. I know it's dollars, but that's so expensive.
The base Series X is now $649, again up $50. The 2 terabyte one has gone from $729 to $799.
Who's buying that? Come on.
Is that the point? What is the point? They can't just be quoting tariffs. Surely. I think this is... I've never seen anything like this. We've talked about this before. This continues to baffle me, and I don't know why there isn't more being made of this. Every platform has increased the cost of their console this generation. That's
what's the cheapest PS5 model now?
Great question. Yeah, don't know.
Just I don't know. I know they both put prices up. We talked about it a while ago. If I was Xbox, I'd be trying to get the S out as cheap as possible for when GTA launches.
Yep.
Unless they're hoping to just discount it and it will make people think, oh wow, it's like £200 off for GTA, and they're going to bundle it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just even back a step though, conceptually, this is unprecedented. I've never heard of this. Every time you go through the generation, the console depreciates in value. They release cheaper iterations, and they then might discontinue the launch version. But you're getting cheaper editions of the same fundamental box. Not that the same unrevised hardware costs more twice. That's crazy to me. I do not understand.
I'm just going to make the handheld come into play as a viable competitor to the home console.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't play the games, but the pricing is, not a million miles off. It just I would be looking at it and I would start to think maybe I do just want to pay the extra and get a PS5 Pro, because you're starting to, at least that's new hardware.
Yeah.
Rather than a 5-year-old console or whatever.
It's not that much of a difference in price now. Really and truly, it's really not. Not from the top end Xbox Series X at all. And it does, it's got some significant boost to its horsepower.
Well, they haven't done anything to the X at all, have they? They've just put bigger storage in it. So, at least with the PS5 Pro, they've revised that and it's got some new stuff in and efficiencies, and someone's looked at it and thought we can improve it in these couple of areas. Whereas the Series X is just the exact same thing. It's just crazy. I don't understand why the S has gone up, because those parts must be pretty cheap now. I can understand them maybe putting the X up and trying to push people to get the S, but we'll see. Surely when GTA comes, there's going to be some, either I think Sony will have a lower price SKU that they're trying to push, or maybe Microsoft will be doing some big discounts on it.
Yeah, a PS5 Slim Digital Edition bundled with GTA is going to fly if they do that.
Exactly.
It's going to absolutely destroy. And I obviously, we're not privy to the nature of whatever arrangement they have in terms of exclusivity, in terms of marketing, I mean. But Sony need to lock that down if they're going to continue building on their momentum. It'd be crazy if they didn't. This has just been a really, really just baffling news beat that I just don't. I can't reconcile. I don't see what the strategy is. I don't actually really truly understand what they're reacting to. What, Yeah, it's unintelligible for me. I really can't wrap my brain around it.
It does make the next generation's going to be so scary for pricing. I just
yeah, what does that look like? And I think we talked about soft bets earlier. Wouldn't even know where to begin to calibrate my betting compass on pricing. Not a clue.
Oh yeah, I mean it depends if we have a Series S again from Xbox, but
don't think we will.
You'd have to think it's going to be 600.
We're getting one SKU. We're getting a SKU, and we're going to get a tie-in handheld. We're not getting 2 SKUs, baby. That's it.
How many bets are we doing today?
Just soft bets. I'm not ready to lay down some stakes yet. We'll circle back. I'm moving on. I don't want to dwell any more on this. I'm just bemused by this. Here's something though interesting, and I really wanted to unpack this with you. Chris Carter from Microsoft was talking about Game Pass's overall investment relative to, say, previous years. He referred to them as calendar years, what they've essentially worked with in terms of partners releasing their games, developers then choosing to follow up with, signing deals to release sequels or other titles into the service, and stating that this year it represents the biggest monetary investment and quantity of partnerships made in Game Pass since its inception. Now,
how can that possibly be true?
I don't know, Mike, and I'm glad we've got there already, because the only way I can connect those dots in my head is if they're factoring in first party.
They're definitely factoring in first party. It's that thing where they say it's profitable.
Yep.
By excluding all the costs of making the games, all the first party games.
My business is doing really well because I have no expenses on my books. And you just go, okay, how does that?
It's just like he's walking down the hallway to an internal studio and saying, "Can we put your game on Game Pass?" Yeah, sure. Oh, partnership made, and then he goes home for the rest of the day.
Tick. Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. I think for the purposes of this, they're factoring in development costs and the value of games to Game Pass. For the purposes of is it profitable, they're excluding the development costs.
Yeah.
And
I know that we've seen, because whenever you've done your brilliant monthly reviews on
not
Xbox Guide. No, but whenever I've seen that stuff and you've gone back and looked at sort of the equivalent value, say, from the last calendar year, and you see that a lot of the games that were there a year ago were on like a year's contract and leave the service, right? And then there are a few that don't. There are multiple instances where we've seen games persist for well beyond what you'd expect. They've been in there for multiple years, and it seems to be the nature of whatever agreement they have is that it's an ongoing thing. So I suppose it's actually a bit tricky in some respects to unpack the accuracy of this position and this statement until maybe next year. Because if they're signing devs now for unannounced titles, or they're securing existing games for longer, that I could understand then would represent a bigger monetary investment, because what we're seeing then is them investing now for a longer term, probably next gen payoff. If we're talking about studios incubating and working on projects now that's going to be released, say, in 27, but they're signing those deals now to fund those games in whatever, royalty based or upfront investment that they do, I could see that being representative of a quote unquote biggest investment historically, if it's something where it's about to pay off for the future. These are obviously huge, wild assumptions and big ifs, but that's how, outside of us just going, well, they're just throwing first party into the mix, that's how I can see them potentially justifying that statement.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I think it would be strange, because we've seen them pivoting from third party to first party by buying Activision for mostly for the purpose of having it in Game Pass, or at least that's how it appeared, and now it's more that they want to be a publisher instead of a hardware company. But so they'd be then going back to third party, pivoting back to third party, which kind of tallies with cancelling a load of games and laying off loads of people. But it would be odd for them. I still think it would be odd for them to because this year or last year especially was very first party heavy. This year's been a bit quieter, but still not too bad.
Yeah, and actually in broader terms, now that just as you were saying that, then it got me thinking about so much was made historically of Xbox's fumbling of the Xbox One announcement, and that in some ways undid all of their goodwill and momentum from the 360 and led a lot of people to go from 360 to PS4. There's also, I think, not enough discussion about Sony's incredible pivot and misfires this generation with their live service, Jim Ryan's mandate and then departure, which led to multiple titles now being binned off, some of which weren't even announced. They were just sort of Jason Trier'd and put out into the world. And their massively inconsistent release schedule in terms of their own output. And of course now we're seeing, I think, Xbox in some ways having to pivot, about with their first party and these closures and things that seem to be announced way too early that then ultimately never saw the light of day. Perfect Dark is incredibly egregious for that reason when you think how long ago that thing was originally teased and announced.
Yeah.
I do think this generation, less so than the last, it was cleaner last generation. Bad announcement, people jumped ship, they didn't understand Kinect, they thought it had to be always online, people weren't ready for that, the messaging was shit, they went to PlayStation. This generation, I think, will be fascinating to look back on in terms of the pivots and changes in strategy. The multi-platform angle. I mean, I did not think we'd be 5 years into the gen talking about Gears of War on PlayStation and Helldivers 2 on Xbox. This has been such a transformative generation of missteps and pivots and changes, and I think we only really we alluded to pricing earlier about what I'm not able to predict what that looks like. I don't think we're going to be able to speak in any real terms about the validity of this Game Pass line, about investment, or truly about the changes that this generation has brought until the next generation starts and we see what that's going to look like moving forward. I think people looking back on this will find this to be a fascinating case study in market reactivity and pivoting from your original plan. It's such a weird gen. This has been such a strange few years for gaming in both good and bad ways. But that just got me thinking about that. That was, yeah.
I think something I've heard mentioned a few times is that Sony almost don't need to do anything at the moment because Xbox is so static. The numbers, they're not selling any hardware, and the price increase isn't helping. All in my opinion, all Sony need to do is wait for GTA. And I think I don't want to keep talking about GTA, but they don't need. Obviously, they get revenue from selling their own games, so that's a reason to release games. But I don't think there's a whole lot they could release that would attract big numbers of people from PS4. In the short term, and GTA will just do that. So rather than spending hundreds of millions of pounds developing a game, which might also bomb, we'll just wait for GTA.
Spend 100 million on the exclusivity for the marketing, and there you go. That's done and wrapped.
Yeah, right? And I think Xbox are similarly kind of treading water, waiting for a new generation of players to come through, and instead of buying consoles, they'll probably be playing on the cloud and Game Pass, and that's much more attractive to a younger audience than it is to the
for sure
the kind of console.
Yeah, and that speaks to the stagnating console market as well. We've not seen people adopt this gen in nearly the same numbers that they did from the previous. So that's across the board. Even with PlayStation's great sales numbers relative to PS4, it's massively less than it's like 50 million less sold, and that's not a small number of people unconverted by that.
Yeah, we know PC and mobile is where the growth is, and a lot of that is driven by younger people. I just don't think it makes for Microsoft that they're not going to get the growth in console, and that's kind of the reason for their pivot. But you might as well put your games on the other platform and make some money, get some more.
The multi-plat strategy from both of them, I think, is really smart. When you've got, Nintendo have that really dedicated install base, and they have the enormous sales success of the Switch to build on. Switch 2 is an iterative platform. It's why it's sold so well initially, and it's continuing to sell well, and games tending to review well. They can afford to have that sort of what is now considered to be a sort of slightly old-fashioned strategy in comparison to Sony and Xbox.
And it appeals, but the console itself does appeal to a younger audience as well. And they had like the Mario movie, which was a huge success.
Or you can tie
Microsoft.
You can definitely tie Nintendo's ongoing and increasing success with their relaxing of their IP control, because we've seen so much more across. I mean, the Lego partnership alone, enormous for them, and obviously the Illumination, the film. You can see that the strategy for them has paid off, and that Xbox and so I think they're both having to be really reactive and pivoting here in a way that I don't think we could have reasonably predicted.
Yeah, I feel like Xbox are positioned much better than Sony to take advantage of that specific audience coming through. But I would still rather be in Sony's shoes, I think, just because of the install base that they've got.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take a huge amount of work to kind of transition that into something similar to what Xbox are doing if they want to go down that way. And we're seeing some signs that they are looking at that.
Absolutely. And the multi-plat strategy is another example of that, right? The rumours of a handheld, like a follow-up to the Vita, again, sort of playing into that idea. I think it would be stupid for the platforms. Let's not forget also, Xbox has done it for a while, but PlayStation being day and date on PC and even releasing their games a year after the fact on PC was a massive change this generation. So I think if that's where the growth market is, and subscriptions are where they're wanting to push alongside cloud and handheld, giving people options but centering it on a PC device of some form is going to be where we get those sort of more off-the-shelf component consoles, and we start seeing what we've seen in the Xbox handheld UI, pulling in all the different PC storefronts. So it's breaking down walls and creating ubiquity where people can just choose how they want to play their games. I think ease of people migrating is what is going to lower that barrier and hopefully then mitigate those diminishing returns that we're seeing in the console market. And what that means looking forward for what these companies look like and where these games eventually come out, I would happily hard bet that everything is timed exclusive now. I really don't think there's any form of what we used to see of like a system selling game being stuck to that system anymore. I really don't. But Game Pass had its most profitable investment this year, had its biggest investment. So, yeah.
Are you talking about just Xbox or everyone there?
I think everyone.
I can't see there's any way Sony will put their single-player games on Xbox for a while.
Not day and date. And I think it will be longer than we think, but I think it's coming. I think the idea of like a Spider-Man game on Xbox, I don't think is from Insomniac.
I know, but
it's mental anymore.
Spider-Man's one thing, and
Last of Us is another. No, that's fair.
Last of Us is another.
Are there any red lines anymore, to use the Phil Spencer
on PlayStation? I think
for sure.
There's plenty.
So we got some new details on Battlefield 6 recently. Confirmation of a single player unveiling on Friday, I believe, was the news there. Also the Conquest Forfeit option, which is a really interesting concept. The idea of sort of like almost like the rematch mercy rule, right? Like I just think that's a really, really fun idea.
I think you should have to vote for that. I think the team should have to vote.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I always like voting for the next map and all that kind of. I do like a bit of democracy.
Vote to kick player. I always like that stuff too. Yeah. Also, something completely actually not from the official. I think this is a bit naughty because it came up on Threads. It was a leaked footage of someone messing with the destruction in the battle royale mode.
I saw that,
and it looks awesome. Like the full building collapse and the gradual, it looked really like exactly what you'd expect from that, like consistent and a clear improvement over what we'd seen in a couple of those maps from the recent beta. So that was very encouraging for me. I just thought that looked and of course with Battlefield you then get the visual fidelity along with that and the detail within. So yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, it looked like I liked that you could technically do it. I felt it was a bit easy to, considering the size of the building. It was perhaps a bit easy to like if you're in that building, like in the middle floor, and someone just has to destroy like 6 pillars around the edge of the building and it will collapse. I don't know. And there was also, I think it looked a bit ropey considering how close that is to release in terms of the debris was like he could walk through it.
And it kind of popped in a bit, didn't it? Yeah, that I think the actual process leading up to destruction was better than the aftermath. I think in that video, I also you wonder sort of how early that footage was and how long they've been sitting on it.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we're spoiled by the finals for the quality of
I mean,
destruction.
and shout out to Embark for like iterating on what was probably already the best in class destruction in a video game. For them to have added the dynamic physics, so like objects that are heavy will break through buildings as well. Now, like, it's just technically in a multiplayer game with instant replays, such a technical achievement. Shout out to them. Give us Arc Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, that game needs to come out as soon as possible. So folks, that will do it for our main headlines. We're going to be diving in to our impressions on a little game called Jump Space, which has just been launched into early access across Steam and Xbox. Mike and I are also going to be playing a little bit of that tonight as well. But before we get to the gameplay, we're going to jump into our reactions to our sort of first 2 or 3 hours or so with the game. And then we will show where we're currently at in our playthrough and take things from there. So we're returning shortly for our reactions to Jump Space. Oh, Mike, this has been one we've had on our list for a while, and we finally went hands-on. I can say with confidence that this is ticking boxes for me. I love the variation, first of all, in the environments. Like, we did a little salvage mission, and each of the wrecks had a different configuration and had those randomized elements, which made it feel really unique. They didn't feel repetitive. I think there was just enough waypointing and tutorializing to get your head around it, but there was also plenty of things that we had to figure. Like, there was a great moment that I wanted to share that where we just figured out we could put stuff on a shelf that we'd retrieved, and just being able to dump that there, very much giving me what I wish Sea of Thieves had, that permanence. Be very interesting to see if tonight, if that stuff's still there, by the way, or if that's now been
I think it may not be. I was well, we'll see, but that was a light criticism that I saw a few people had. But
interesting. Okay. But that's telling, I think, because I know you can load up your supply, your kind of weapon upgrades and stuff like that. I really appreciated the amount of operational things you can do in the ship as well, across repairing the shield generators, gathering resources from the collectors, dealing with internal breaches and fires. Like, there was a great moment where you had to go through the vents and start putting out fires, internal fires.
I mean, I love the fire extinguishers.
Oh man, you were absolutely all over that. That'll probably come through tonight in the stream. Us just dicking around with the silly crouch animation and just doing silly stuff like that. Manning the weapons pods, having to divert power, like the manual switchboard of diverting power. Then also leaving the ship, going 0G, fighting in combat, retrieving supplies, going down on missions. There's a lot going on in this game for it being early access, and I think they've done a really effective job of packing it well. We've seen in the roadmap as well that Jump Space is going to be adding a lot, in terms of like iterative features and also additional story content over the next 6 months or so. The devs haven't confirmed an exact window for early access. They're kind of estimating sort of between, so they want to say sort of within a year that it's going to be sitting in early access, but there's not like a hard date on that yet. We don't know exactly when that's gonna be, but having a blast with it. I think there's definitely certain elements that could be tightened. So I think the shooting definitely is something that is a little loose, and I think maybe some tweaking of settings might help mitigate that somewhat. And I'm hoping very much that what we get with other mission types and objectives is we get a little bit of that variation continue. We've seen a lot of that in the initial mission that you're introduced to, and I'm hoping as we progress through the sectors there'll be things they hold back on. Like, I hope we get enemy types held back for the later missions, and certain mission types that are only available at certain points in certain regions.
I think once we land on a planet, that will be a nice variety. We've obviously got that to look forward to. My favourite moment so far has been when you were piloting and I was just walking around the bridge of the ship, and I saw the view screen move shifting as you were piloting the ship. I don't know what it was, but there's that I don't want to mention Sea of Thieves too much because they're not actually that similar, but it has that same sense of wonder that you get in Sea of Thieves when the ship is moving in the massive sea. You just normally in games you're stuck in position, either controlling the ship or you're like a passenger. To be able to move around while it's flying so dynamically, obviously controlled by you in that case, was just unparalleled. sort of immersive experience.
Yeah,
So.
and something also that I wanted to give a shout out to that I generally don't like in games is zero G stuff. I find it really clunky often, and it can be disorientating too when you're playing it. Really slick in this. The flip animation that takes you out of first person, the way you can use the grapple to quickly pull yourself onto a point, the orientation that lets you land always the correct way around without any fuss. Very, very slick and well thought out, and that is definitely to this game's credit that they've done that. It's often a big turn off for me with these kind of games, is that they don't get the zero G stuff right.
Yeah, I think they definitely got it right. I was just thinking it would be fun if there was like a survival mode where it's sort of realistic.
Right, yeah.
Gee, so like you overshoot it and you just fly off
just,
into space.
Yeah, you're not like slingshotting across like an asteroid field or something. Absolutely. So I think definitely the shooting mechanics and the combat can be tightened up. I definitely also experienced some performance issues on Xbox when sort of combat really heats up. So when there's a lot of the robot drone enemies on screen that are corrupted, that I did find a little bit of choppiness there, and I think that will come down. I think that's definitely going to be smoothed out through early access. I feel like that's just going to be smooth there, but that's definitely something I clocked for sure.
Apparently there's loads of crashes on Xbox, but we haven't had any, so not sure. But
I think we had a brief sort of lock up, didn't we? But it wasn't a hard crash. It then sort of worked itself out. I think you may have been kicked, but I re-invited, and once we'd done that, we were in it for like a solid 2 hours with no issues at all. So one thing again as well that I think that this game has huge potential for is if they keep to this vision, if we don't suddenly get like a shoehorned PvP, and if we just have it continue to be narratively focused and custom, like bespoke mission design, that is what's going to give this thing longevity for me, with those procedural elements. But the fact that it's handcrafted is something that's really struck a chord with me, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to when we repair our ship properly. So because at the moment half of it's kind of closed off, or we can't traverse it particularly easily, and that's progression that we can look forward to that you don't get in Sea of Thieves, because there isn't progression other than like your rank and you unlock. You can spend your money on stuff, but the actual physical sort of narrative progression is a big bonus for this.
And the ship gets to represent that too. It's a tangible thing that is just really, really cool. I do feel like you and I have only really scratched the surface. I think we did very well. I mean, I know that when I had access to the previous alpha on PC and played about 30 seconds before going, I love this, I'm done though. Like, I need to wait for this to be in early access to play with you. I think there's a lot that we don't know, and I think that's part of the fun of this too, is we're going to be discovering that. It's a winner, and to be honest, I just want to play it. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this latest episode of System Link so far. Our podcast segment is done. We're going to now be switching gears and getting ourselves set up in Jump Space, playing some co-op. We'll be returning shortly. Stick with us, and we'll be back playing some Jump Space. Hey folks, we are back in Jump Space. Early access on Xbox right now and PC. Mike and I are both playing the Series X console version. It's just cozy vibes. Cozy around.
Yeah.
I want a fire extinguisher you, because that's always part of the fun. Oh! Spider-Manning. This has been such a cozy experience already that I just want to do more. That's it. I just want to dive in. So I think we've got our next...
Oh shit, look at this.
What's going
on? This from last time. It says, sorry that I broke the ball and the pump. I'll fix it soon.
Oh, that's hilarious, because the physics were
broken.
There
was a ball in here last time.
Oh, wait. Oh, you think that's like a narrative thing?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
last time there was a football in here, I think I lost one in my hangar. I don't know if we lost it in your hangar or not. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The reminds me of Knockout City, like things changing in the sort of communal.
Yeah, and them
world.
having like them seeing if you spot it kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So this one here, the salvage one, I think we already boxed off, didn't we?
Yeah. I think we might need to sort of bear it. Don't know. Not sure if you did that. Did you cash the mission in last time?
I think so.
If that's how it works.
Yeah.
How's it going? I still need one of those drift stabilizers to complete the ship restoration. Raiding one of those cargo ships is unfortunately the only way to get them.
I actually really like the voice acting in this as well. That's working really well, I think. Yeah, we've got the main goal given by Barrett is we need to complete a crashed cargo retrieval mission. So, there's actually 2 missions for that. I'm gonna go for this one. This is a slightly harder rating on this one, so let's do it. Cool.
Mission destination set. Prepared for jump when you are ready.
And then how do we actually get in the ship? I've forgotten how to do it.
I think you just need to ready up, maybe.
Oh, you just... Oh, yep, got it. There you go. This would be cool, by the way, like if they could do... I think I saw some people talking about that online, about if there was like a sequence where you could board your ship and take off. And the devs were saying, like, they're aware of that. They said it's quite logistically complicated to do that, to make that work, because obviously you're loading in the game at the same time. I would imagine that's going to be something just for immersion purposes that we see from them in the future.
It's kind of like the Starfield problem. You feel like there would be a way that you can at least walk onto the ship and sit down in your chair or something, and then it loads a cutscene. With there's ways that they could have done Starfield better. That's so cool to be out in space again.
Check it out.
Oh yeah.
The Legion cargo ship is temporarily stopped in a sector a few jumps ahead. It's the perfect opportunity for us to intercept it. Once you're prepared, let's start jumping toward the target sector.
Yeah.
Nothing on sensors.
I'm just I want to use the sensors more because I think we got ambushed a couple of times, didn't we? And I'm wondering if we could have like gotten a heads up on them coming in.
Yeah.
If we were able to sort of identify them ahead of time. Seems like they've got a pretty decent range, so... I can't remember what weapons we'd installed initially, so this... I think we kept...
Yeah, we took the railgun off, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Because it's unpowered. Because we don't have the capacity for it. So, I mean, that will be interesting to see for sure. Is like how much of that can we upgrade and tweak over time. Okay. So shelves are empty. So that's good to know. So we want to try and use that stuff if it's upgrades or whatever, then
it's interesting, isn't it? You feel like I don't know if one exists, but ideally you would have a like at least a chest or something you can put stuff in, so it stays.
Well, it's exactly.
I think it's a bit frustrating that the items don't stay.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's fair.
Presumably, if you were carrying it, maybe, because I've still got the fire extinguisher, so I don't know if we had like the repair thing or whatever.
Oh, if you were holding that when we
with
were
you
done.
when.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got all my weapons and stuff from before. I don't have the RPG or anything. I've got my shotgun, which I had in my inventory.
I flushed the shotgun down the toilet, so
Oh,
I
that's
don't
right.
have that.
Of course you did. Okay, cool. So we've got...
Right.
Now, this is interesting, because this is very Lilac Wars for me. Like, the multiple paths leading to the frozen planet. That's the main objective. And we've got a decision to make here. I love, by the way, that the view is relative to where you are standing when you select this. There's... You are so blocking my screen, and I'm so glad that's now for everyone to see. There's an asteroid field with a hostile outpost, a hostile fortification on a Legion-controlled moon. We have to go in on foot and clear it out. And there's also a shipwreck with a hostile blockade. But each one seems to be offering something different in terms of, like...
They all sound good, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
the red moon is offering materia for loot. There's credits on offer for the shipwreck.
Lock in a destination on the jump map and
yeah, I feel like that. Although I really do want to try a planet or a moon, the one after that looks like it's somewhat similar. 2 hostile fortifications.
Yeah, so
on the route.
If we go, but it's interesting though. If I go for the shipwreck blockade, the other one here, the dig site, it's like a respite to perform repairs and plan ahead. So I would almost say then, if we go for the asteroid field, take out the hostile outpost, then we go left and on the galaxy map and head to the hostile fortification.
Yeah, I think so.
And that gives us a nice bit of variation there.
Let's do it.
Destination set. You actually have to strap in. You have to sit down in order to be safe during jumps. We haven't actually seen what happens. I'm assuming it's just death. You just get insta kill.
I'd be surprised if it's like animated but I don't know. It'd
really
be interesting
funny if it was.
to see.
Right. Well,
I just love the viewpoint moving as you.
It's so cool, isn't it? The ship's aligned and ready to go.
Let's go.
Are you all seated, ready to go?
Indeed.
Actually, I can see the jump seat. I love that I can tell that you're in there, which is very cool. Right. Charging. I have to hold this for a good 5 seconds, so like you can cancel it. Yeah.
We will try it at some point. We have these things in games where, like I would just get out of my seat right at the end or something, and
like I'm like a second away from initiating the jump, and then Mike's like, "What's this?"
I just need to.
we've jumped into an asteroid storm that's interfering with our nav
Oh shit.
system. We need to recalibrate it with new data to be able to leave.
Oh.
It seems that one of the wrecks has valuables in it. If you feel confident, you can try and get it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Now, anything
There's
on
lots on sensors now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the calibration point, but there is that high tier loot which might be worth grabbing, you know.
Yeah.
So if we,
Look over here.
I'm gonna head towards. It's 5 kilometers away. We've got the oh bloody hell! Look, the asteroid storm looks awesome. Can you see this through the view screen?
Yeah.
Ah!
Presumably we can get hit by this stuff.
We can. Yeah, I'm just taking damage. I'll take us through the wreck. Yep, shield's taken a hit. We're at 75%.
I mean, I can go out and stand on the, like outside of the ship. It's pretty epic. Whoa. Jesus. Yeah, good job we got shields.
Yeah, although speaking of which, we're at 25%. I've taken a lot of hits.
Might have to take us to safety.
Yeah.
I don't know where we can monitor the shields.
Top left of the HUD.
Oh yeah, I wondered if there was a station.
Oh yes, possibly. Oh shit.
My audio balance isn't great. It's very music heavy.
Yes, I was just thinking that myself. Actually, might be something I have to.
I'd like to be able to hear like the asteroids and stuff.
Yeah. And we're taking hull damage. Our shields are down. I don't know if we can actually destroy the asteroids as they're coming in.
Oh, good shout.
Yes, they are. You can damage them, but my piddly weapons did nothing on that. The main gun. That'd probably be for you to man. Yeah. I think they are potentially... Like, I was getting damage markers on them. Okay, I'm going to hold position. I think we've got a decent position here that's relatively...
Oh, yeah, quite covered.
Yeah. Going to hold position. I love the red alert, by the way. Have you seen this inside the ship?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get us out this tube. I'm going to... I've got to the loop.
Use it now.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, you can take damage from the asteroid. Ah, shit. We've got a fire on the ship.
Okay, I'm on my way.
The hull's taking heavy damage. I'm going to have to try and get us out of here, you know. I'm going to see if I can get us a more... Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get us a more secure location.
Yeah. I've dealt with the first fire. There's another one down in the vent again.
In the Jeffries tubes.
I think we're okay now.
I'm trying to find something I can park underneath. Use some of the asteroids here for cover.
You managed to get the stuff back on board, did you say?
No, I haven't yet. I was taking too much damage. Okay, I think I've got...
Or maybe I need to go and get it and you need to be pilot.
Yeah, of course. Well, I've got us in a position here. We're slightly further away, so you've got a bit of a boost to go. It's that 0.9 kilometers. It looked like it was only a small little wreck. There was something there you could, like, pick up, I think. I've got us in a
Presumably
position...
we can be hit by asteroids.
Oh, yes, I took damage. Yeah. As soon as you said you've added materia to the ship. By the way, this is so cool. If from my perspective, like I can see like a shower of like this asteroid storm in front of me coming vertically down the screen, while I'm like just walking around the bridge, seeing you out there. Oh,
is this? Oh no!
Oh, it crashed.
Oh shit!
Oh man, it was going so well. We'll probably have to stop there, folks, just because obviously we don't want to be like dropping in and out on stream.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much for tuning in. That gave just the briefest of flavors of what Jump Space is at. I mean, it's such a great game. It's such a shame, obviously, that crapped out just then. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this latest episode of System Link. You can find us on all of the things, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, as well as YouTube at Burly Media. Please also join our Discord community as well. It's a really wholesome, lovely place. Mike, where can people find you?
I am at theexportsguide.com and at the Exports Guide on Threads and Blue Sky, but mostly on your Discord at the moment, not doing a lot of other stuff. So.
Nice. Well, listen, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
See ya.